You speak very well. Let's just be very straight up about it. You're what is the word? You're just you've got your linguistic stuff together very well. I've seen you work at Chamber of Commerce events. I've seen you put on the spot in some, some pretty tense conversations when it comes to the pipeline, and you always seem to be able to find the right words. Where do those skills come from? Is this is public speaking something that you worked on in the past, or is this something that just kind of came along naturally with the jobs that you took on?
That's a good question. I don't know if I think you're being a little more generous than I'd give myself, but in any case, I have something I've had to work at. It doesn't come naturally per se, but it's something that I have put myself in a position where I've had to kind of speak up publicly. I've had to be in front of in the hot seat. I've spoken at every regional district and local government council chambers across northern BC, and many times I've done media interviews. I've done national media and some of the controversial aspects of pipeline politics. So I have, had to work at it over the years, and then it does actually translate well to politics. And when you're going door to door and trying to present yourself during a campaign, or we do our televised debate on CKPG, all of that, it's a lot of practice. And then I had more practice since I've been in the legislature, getting up and they tell you, okay, we want you to go speak for 30 minutes on a topic, so yeah, you got to get good at it quickly. So I'm still learning at it, but looking to improve day by day.
That's impressive. And the reason I brought it up, a couple of reasons. Number one, the number one fear in the world is public speaking, which blows my mind. You'd think it'd be
Yeah,
death.
I can see that.
Yeah, like a painful death you'd think would be a much bigger fear for people. But no, it's public speaking. People would rather die a painful death than stand up in front of a crowd most of the time. So when I see somebody with those skills, you know that it's either a natural thing for them where they just grew up in the middle of it and they were comfortable, or it's something that they had to work at. Now, when I look at the boards that you've been a part of too, these are all public speaking at the end of the day. You've been a part of the Spirit of the North Healthcare Foundation. You were president of the Prince George Chamber of Commerce recently as well. CNC's President's Industry Council, LNG Labor Working Group, plus, as you said, TC Energy's Public Affairs Manager and other positions in the business too. And then the multiple Chief of Staff positions you've had as well. It definitely you've leaned into it. So if it's not a natural thing for you, props for leaning into it, because that's one of the toughest things that people find out there. And I think in politics, I think it's a skill that many of our politicians don't have enough of. Transparency is number one with you guys. I mean, we're handing you our tax dollars on a day-to-day basis, and we're just trusting that you guys aren't doing anything skeezy with them. So the best way to make sure that that's happening is transparency. And to be transparent, you got to communicate. So props to you for, going on the path. The process is what gets us to these skills at the end of the day. And your process speaks for itself right here on this, resume that you've thrown out there. Which one of those jobs and former positions do you think handed you the most skills that you're now using now that you're helping run our province?
Definitely my last role in pipeline, working for a pipeline company, and it was a project that saw right from the early days in the environmental assessment right through construction. So working on a project of that scale, when we had 20 different First Nations we worked with, we had numerous municipalities, we had provincial government to work with. That was communicating with a lot of stakeholders. That was communicating with a lot of members of the public, landowners across the project area. So all that, I think, built up, really my knowledge of northern BC more than anything to help me bring that in. So, we listened to the concerns and aspirations and tried to actually change the project based on public feedback. And I think politicians need to actually listen to make sure that, we actually are making policy that is actually going to benefit people, that's not going to have a detriment to them. And Matt, I think you hit the nail on the head before when you said transparency is key. I did work for an MLA at one point that said he had a sign in his office that he pointed to in every meeting, and it said, "Think like a taxpayer." And I think that's something that actually politicians these days need to think. There's only one taxpayer. We have multiple levels of government, and it's not government's money. It's actually taxpayers. It's the people's money that government is managing. So it needs to be transparent. It needs to be accountable, and that's something that we need to focus on. But yeah, when I was in those discussions on the pipeline, we had to be up in front answering hard questions each and every day, and that was a lot of problem solving during construction. I had, there's always going to be issues that pop up, and I was part of that, solving issues on the spot all the time. So great skills to be able to learn to bring into this job, and I hope I can contribute back for Prince George in that same way, and Mackenzie and our region here in northern BC certainly.